In this video, I'm going to show you how to fit a roller blind. Now, there are certain things you'll need: a drill with a correct size bit, a metal tape measure, a pencil, and a crosshead screwdriver. You'll also find you'll have screws, wall plugs, and a couple of end brackets. Now, when you get your blind, you'll notice two things about it. First of all, it has a sprung loaded end, and the other end has the controls. Depending on the length of your blind, these end pieces will look different. The blind I've got is a small one, so the ends will look like this. But if your blind is larger, they'll have an end like this, or a larger still, you'll have this big fitting at the end. This is also a time that you need to notice there are two different types of end bracket. The one with the springy end, in this case, is this circle here, and that's what I'll be putting up on the left-hand side. Now, with your brackets, you can mount them either as a face fix, if you're mounting them outside the recess, or you can mount them in the recess. Now, if you've got wooden window frames, for example, that you can screw into, you can mount them on the frame itself. But if you've got UPVC windows, you can mount them on the top like this, and that's what I'll be doing now. Now, you may remember when we measured for your blind, I mentioned things that might foul the action of the blind as it falls, like handles and locks. So now it's time to measure how far these stick out from the frame. Now, in this case, it looks like about 3.5 centimeters. So I'm going to add a little bit just for safety. So I'm going to make sure that the back of the blind is at least 4 centimeters away from the window frame. One other thing you want to check for before you put your brackets up is how snug the blind fits into the recess. What you want to do is to make sure that the brackets fit quite accurately, because if they're too loose and the blind is too slack, it could rattle as you use it. So now I'm going to measure and mark where the brackets are actually going to go. So I measured 4 centimeters to the back of the blind, so I'm going to put a little pencil mark there. Then I'm going to offer up the bracket against that mark, and I'm going to put 2 pencil marks, which is where I need to drill. And then I need to repeat this the other side. So a pencil mark, and then the other bracket in the same way, mark there, ready for drilling. So now it's time to drill the holes. Put in the plugs. So now I'll fit the bracket. Make sure once again that you get the right bracket at the right end. And now we'll do the same the other side. With the brackets in place, it's time to actually put the blind up. Now, the idle end, or the springy end, goes in first. So I push that in there and then squeeze it together, and then this end will click into place like that. And the final fitting stage is to put on the child safety device. Now, there's a separate video showing you how to do this. So now your side winding blind is ready to use. Now, if you're fitting a sprung blind, the basics are the same as the side winding blind. The difference, however, is that you still have your springy end one end, but the other end, you have this fitting. Now, I'm going to take note of this little pin, because once it's up, we need to pull that pin out just a couple of millimeters to release it from its transit mode. So let's put it into position. So we'll put the sprung end in first, and this end will clip in like that. With the blind clicked in, it's time to pull out that little pin just a couple of millimeters. Don't take it out all the way. So now your blind is ready to use. Now, it's really important, whether you've got a sprung blind or a side widening blind, that you never pull the material longer than you need to. Otherwise, you could unravel the mechanism.